Our next service award recipient unfortunately missed high school graduation ceremony, but because he was recruited by the Navy during June of 1944. Through the mid-1950s, he served in the Naval Reserves, and in October of this year, he will be attending his ship's reunion gathering. This public relations major and journalism minor graduated from the evening program at Utica College in 1954. As a student, he served UC as editor of the Tangerine, president of Pi Delta Epsilon and the Ski Club, and served as treasurer for his senior class. He began his career as the business manager for WKTV television in 1953. Between 1959 and 1980, he served as the general manager of Heron Cable, which later became Adelphia Cable. While at Adelphia, he held the position of Director of Public Relations and Franchising and retired as a consultant in 2002. Throughout his career, this alumnus continued to serve his alma mater. In 1964, he was the chairman of the Alumni Drive to raise $10,000 for a new laboratory at the Burstone campus. It was around this same time that the infamous once-a-month poker games would occur at his house on Mohawk Street. His children loved the games because they would find coins and sometimes even bills lying around in the morning. What do the poker games have to do with UC? Well, some of the participants included the likes of Dr. Virgil Crisafulli, Dr. Herman Muscat, and Professor Ray Simon, among other well-known Utica College professors. In addition to giving to the Simon Media Center and the Ray Simon Institute, he's a member of the National Alumni Council, and he has been a tireless advocate for the Utica College Annual Fund. He has served as a letter signer for Annual Fund for the pre-1961 segment of our alumni, has called classmates to encourage their attendance at homecoming, and also encouraged their support to give back to UC. I'm very pleased to present one of the 2010 College Service Awards to Frank H. Gruenewald, class of 1954.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I certainly want to thank the other members of our board for thinking of me for this award, but I thought it might be a little different if I told you a couple of stories of events that happened when I was in college, not here, because I never set foot on this campus, for the very reason it wasn't here. It was over at Oneida Square. But they had two events that, of many that happened over there, that I thought you might like to hear about. And one of them was when I was serving on the Tangerine board to put the paper out weekly. The administration was considering a raise in the coffee price that was provided for all of us, from a nickel to 7 cents. Now the problem was we're not supposed to know about this until it actually happened. But we had a way of having reporters go certain places to find out things that were happening or going to happen to all of us at UC then. So I'm going to tell them a little secret. We sent a reporter down in the basement of the administration building when they were having their executive meeting to decide, and of course nobody knew about this rate increase except themselves. So anyway, the reporter heard them talking, and they said, yeah, we got to raise it from 5 to 7 cents because it's just getting too expensive for us to offer it at a nickel a cup. So we had big headlines in the Tangerine that week, and the whole story exposed, and we never did tell anybody how we got the story, but we sure heard about it at the time. But I thought you might like to hear that. The other one was a very interesting experience we had. I was in class with a fellow by the name of Morton Urowski, And his father owned 2 blocks of Lower Manhattan in New York, and he sent him up here to get him out of his hair. This is what Mort told us. And they paid him $35 a week and said, go up there and don't bother me. And this is what he did. Mort was a pretty sharp guy, and he did well in all of his classes. But on this one occasion, how many of you here remember Owen Roberts, who taught English at the school? Okay. Well, Owen also taught me English in high school at UFA, 4 years before he came to UC to teach. Well, anyway, on this particular occasion, Owen gets very sentimental, and he has an adopted English accent. So you'd swear he grew up in England. I don't think he ever set foot there, but he had an excellent dialect, and you always thought he's from England. Anyway, he was getting very emotional over a section that he was reading, and I think it was from Shakespeare. Did you find out anything? No? I don't know, but it seems like it was a Shakespeare thing that he was reading, and he got very emotional. It was very serious, and death was involved, and he begins to cry, and the tears are rolling down his cheeks, and Urowski breaks into uproarious laughter. And that really brought things to a halt. He immediately threw him out of class. So about 3 days later, Urowski's telling me all this. He said, geez, he threw me right out of class. I said, well, what do you expect he's going to do? Anyway, we're on the second level of Plymouth Church, Mort and I, coming out of a class that we had down at the end of the hall, and here comes Owen. And he's very serious, no smile, just looking at us. Urowski says, good grief, here he comes. We're in trouble now. I'm in trouble now. So as we got closer, Owen moved over and stopped right in front of us. And he looked at Urowski and he said, Urowski, you're a bastard, but I want to see you in class next week. And he did show up, and he got, I think, a B+ on his report card. He was really a sharp kid, but that was one of his indiscretions. Another one that he had was that a lot of us played pitch. Anybody going to college now play pitch that are here? Any of you students that might be here? Well, we played a lot of pitch over there. And sometimes we played where he was living. He lived on Eagle Street with 3 or 4 other guys. And we were over there playing pitch, and he'd come in and he'd say, what are you degenerates doing playing pitch and where I'm living? But don't you guys know any better than that? Well, we didn't, and we continued to play and had a lot of fun. Anyway, I really am appreciative of this award, and I thank you so much. And all my family is here. I thought I'd just mention that I have 3 children and 6 grandchildren. My oldest son, Kurt, is over here, and he used to go to the Tangerine office with me when he was a baby because Dolores had something else to do. My wife, Dolores, she's here also. And so I'd bring him, and he was maybe a year and a half old, and he had what we called a bee, one of those things that the kids have when they're that little to keep them pacified, and that kept him pacified. But anyway, he was exposed to that at a very early age. And the others, David, my younger son, is a graduate of UC, as is my granddaughter, Catherine, and she's right over here. And put your hands up, kids. They might like to see who you are. And my daughter, Lisa, who was the youngest of the 3, is employed here. She is now Director of Enrollment Management here at UC. Has been here for several years now. And Catherine graduated a year ago and is now at Binghamton University doing some advanced work. And she's also, I got to tell you this, she's also going to run in the Chicago Marathon, October the 8th, 10th, October 10th. And she's already running the New York Marathon. So we have several kids in the family that are runners. My Youngest, no, not my youngest, but one of my grandsons is out in Ogden, Utah right now, and he's working out there on a mission. He's a Mormon, and he's there, but he set a record here. Let's see, when he was a junior in high school, from Pedro Manius, he was All-American in soccer at that time, and in running, in running. And he was part of a 13-school get-together at New Hartford, athletic get-together, and they had all kinds of things that they were doing. Well, he ran in, and I've forgotten the distance, but he ran in less than 9 minutes. And he was the first kid to do this in 37 years. The guy who had set the record 37 years prior to this, and this was back several years ago, called him. He was still living in this area, to congratulate him, which is very unusual if you have somebody after that length of time that still remembered what he had done then. And I guess that record will hold for a while. I haven't heard anybody that has broken it yet. But anyway, thank you ever so much, you fellows, and Dr. Hutton. I appreciate your being up here. It's just too bad you haven't joined us to play poker, but we may get him one of these times, you know.
I would take your money, Frank.